So I will probably record a new audio on top of this for the YouTube video. Let me just double check I haven't got anybody following me on Twitch, because usually I haven't, if I'm honest. Go to the channel and the channel, there we go. No way it's Fortnite. Okay, so I don't know, actually I might use this audio, so I'll go for it and I'll try and be professional. 298 views on Twitch, getting near to 300 there. I have no idea how that's happened. So what I wanted to do was maybe a little bit of an introduction first. I've been playing chess regularly for about 2 or 3 years now. I started by playing on the iPad. Can't remember the chess app. Is it? I think it's Mastersoft Chess. So playing against the computer, and I played. So with that particular game of chess, the start point is 800. So I assume that the average is somewhere near 800. So you start at 800. If you lose a match, then your score drops, and if you win a match, then it increases. Usual rules apply. If you lose a match against somebody who's really, really good, you don't lose very many points. If you win a match against somebody who's got a really high score, you get lots of points. If you lose a match against somebody who's got a really low score, you lose lots of points. And if you lose a match against, I think I've already done, if you lose a match against somebody who's got a really high score, then you don't lose so many points. Have I done all 4? You get the gist. So, sometime last year, I was fortunate enough to be working with somebody who was using the Chess Time app regularly. So they were playing other players, and this person has a score of around 1600, and a few games in I gave him a game and I made a silly mistake with the knight and he won, and I think I'd expect him to beat me 9 times out of 10, if not 99 times out of 100. And the reason I say maybe 9 times out of 10 is that a few months ago, after I'd started playing on Chess Time, I started playing a friend of mine who's really good, and his score is now about 1600, and we had 5 games. He beat me relatively easily in the first 4, but he made a mistake in the 5th game and I did manage to beat him. And the other great thing about playing my friend is that at the end of each game he would give me feedback. So what I'm saying to YouTube peeps here is, I can't believe I used the word peeps, I'll say that again. What I'm saying to YouTube people here is, if you've come to this video because you're into chess, I'm gonna go unusual. I'm gonna say, I want you to comment, I want your criticism, I want to know, constructive please, where did I go wrong, how could I have done better in this game. So, bit of context, this game that I'm showing here is the game that got me to just above 1200. So let me just see now. So the story is that when I was playing against the computer, I started at 800 and I lost game after game after game after game, and my score went down to below 400, and then it turned and it started coming back up again, and after about 400 games I got back to 800. So I got better at playing against the computer. Then when I started to play real people on Chess Time, because Chess Time is a phone app where you can, if you want to, you can just make a move a day or a move every 2 days, or you can set it so that there's a limit of like 5 days if you want. So you can play real kind of postal chess with each other, and this is why it works really well with me and my friend. I live in Birmingham, he lives in Manchester, and we were playing each other at chess on Chess Time, which was great. And usually what would happen is we'd make 2 or 3 moves a day, And then I remember the game that I beat him, the end game, we ended up, I was sat at my desk for 3 hours just playing non-stop. So, chess time, you can make a move a day. You can make, you know, if you want to, you can keep making moves, but usually the other person is remote, so you make a move and you have to wait for them to make another move. And usually they'll make a move, at least one move a day. So I started playing on chess time against people, and straight away I was losing a lot of games, because there is a big difference between playing against people and playing the computer. And I remember John saying that, that's John who introduced me to chess time, that it's a lot more interesting when you play against people, because unlike the computer, it feels like some people play a very defensive game, some people play a very aggressive game. And I've got to say, I've almost always got one chess game going on chess time. And the other thing I've noticed is that you play against people, often you play against people who are playing multiple games, and you see that their score's very volatile, and they seem to come into, say for example, my range was, I think I was in Class E player, which is between 1000 and 1200, and somebody would sort of have a run of bad luck, come down into Class D, play you, and then in the middle of your game they're playing lots of other games, they're winning games, and then suddenly they're up at 1250 or 1300, and then you feel like you're playing somebody who's from the class above. But that's okay, because I think it's quite stretching. And the last 3 games that I played, it was against somebody who seemed to be playing a lot of games, seemed to be over 1200. He was really good. I think he was good. First game I played against him, he beat me. The next game I won, and then I won the third game as well. And this is the reason why I feel like I've wanted to, ever since I started YouTubing regularly, I've wanted to make a video about chess, but I wasn't sure if I had anything to say. And because this game pushed me over 1200 on chess time, for me that was, when I started playing, you start at 1200, you lose a game, it goes down, you lose another game, it goes down. And generally my score has been between 1200 and 1100. I think it went down to about 1100. Let me check that actually. I'm just going to look at my graph. So if I go count, view rating graph. Okay, so I started off at 1200, lost my first game, and then my score dropped down to below 1100. And then ever since then, it's been a gradual recovery. I've played, if I look at my game history, how many games? It doesn't say how many games I've played. Let me see if I can count how many games I've played. Okay, my 49th game is the one that took me above 1200 for the first time. So 49 games on chess time against other opponents, and managed to get above 1200. So that's Class D, I think. So let me see now, what am I? Class D. I'm now in Class D, and my rating is 1212. And after I make this video, I'm going to start another game, and I'm going to concentrate really hard, because I don't want to fall below 1200. And I think if I lose, usually if you lose a game, you lose about 15 to 20 points, I think. Oh, there we go. I've got win 25, loss 28, draw 1. That's my history. Okay, so what I'm going to do is, I think this was a really scrappy game, the last game that I won, the one that got me above 1200. I think it's a really scrappy game. I got ahead quite early on, and I managed to take his rook. But then, later on, he took mine, and I just feel like I had such an advantage. I shouldn't have walked into some of the things that I walked into later on. So just want to recap, just want to restate. I'm looking for your criticism. I want to get better at chess. Chess for me is an education. I don't think that I'm particularly good at chess. I've played 50 games on chess time. I'm just over 1200. That was my objective. I had a goal of 1205. Didn't have a time frame on it. I just wanted to get to 1205. It's taken me 50 games, and now my goal is 1300. I want to get to 1300. I want to win some more games. I don't think it's impossible for me to do that. And I'm looking for comments under the YouTube video. Please comment and let me know what you would have done differently. What sort of basic tactical errors am I making, and how can I improve? I'm going to aim to respond to every point that's made, and my plan is not to be defensive. So I've seen people do that before. They say, oh, help me with my chess, and somebody says do this, do that, and then they're always like, oh, I do that. I'm going to really try not to do that, because you know, if you're going to take the time to comment, you know, I'd like to respond to it, but I want to take on board what you've got to say. So, longest intro on earth, 13 minutes of talking non-stop about chess. I'm going to edit that in a big way, and here the game begins. So let me go. I'm going to rewind all my moves. I'm playing black. As you can see, I'm flipped the table round. Table? What's it called? Board. I flipped the board around, and their first move is d2, d4, which looks like that. I mirror that move. Oh, and I just want to say, this is something I've been trying to do for a while. I'm trying to get control of the centre of the board, and I'll come back to that in a minute. So what's his next move is here. I'm not very good at saying what the moves are. It'd be good practice for me, wouldn't it? Yes, one is d4, and then two is d5. Okay, so it goes d4, d5. Okay, I'm not going to try and get into that because I'm not very good at it. Okay, so let's go forward, go forward. What's the next move? Yeah, so I've been doing this move quite a lot because I think it's helping me to get the centre of the board. And he goes there, and then I go here. So I've been doing this a lot because I kind of like how I've got a couple of pieces in the centre. I've moved my bishop, and I'm also defending both of those pieces with this pawn. I hope you can, yeah, you can see my cursor. Okay, bang, he goes there, which is, I'm still not sure how to, and then I go here, and then he goes there. Oh. So now I'm trying to get so I've got both my bishops out, and I'm trying to get my knights out now. And he goes here. Oh, which I've definitely, I'm quite familiar with this move, which is kind of stop me from doing that. And I've definitely done that a few times myself. Okay, and then I moved mine. So this comes back to a game that I've played against my friend, and he taught me about this saying, is it a backwards pawn makes a good home for a knight? So I see this opportunity where I can, because normally I think I was going to do this and just keep trying to control the centre of the board and get this knight out, but I felt like I saw an opportunity because I could go here, and he's got to move his queen, which he does, and then what? So I move, okay, I move to here, so I've got the first piece of the game. He does this, and then I move my, so this one to me, I don't like to move my queen too early. Oh, is it scoring me? What's going on here? Is that, so that, is it saying black's got a negative score? And I think a negative score is a good thing, isn't it? So it's saying black's overall in a better position than white. Okay, I think that's, it's really good to review your games, isn't it? Right, where were we? Okay, so I kind of like the feeling of putting the queen in a position like this where, you know, it's covering this diagonal. Seems like a very kind of, it's, I won't use the word defensive because I've moved my queen forward, but I seem to be projecting quite a lot of strength along these diagonals. Okay. So I always like to do that move. Now he's moving his knight out. And I've taken this knight and then obviously risking... Ah! But now I've got my queen here. Okay, what does he do? He goes this way. Interesting. And I go here. And he comes to here. I don't take it with my queen. So... And then he takes my knight. I take his pawn. And that score there seems to be getting better for black. Okay. This looks like a really good training tool. I like it. Oh, and what I liked about this move was, unless he does anything, I'm threatening his rook. Okay, and he goes here. Ah, he puts me in check. First check of the game. Oh. And I do that. He goes like that. And then I go like that. Okay, so this is why he now moves his king. Okay. And then we can whiz through these moves to there, to there, to there, back in check, to there. He does this. He looks like he's cleaning up at the moment. And then to there. Okay. And then he goes here. And I go. Oh. Right. So how does this play out? Like that. And then I take his queen. So we've exchanged queens. He goes to here. And then I go on the attack. This, I think, might be where it all starts to go wrong for me. Okay, and I get this piece out of the way. So he comes in with his king. So, now this. I thought, oh no, this, okay, but he's in check. Oh yes. So again. And he moves out to here. And I go over there. Okay. Oh, wait a minute, so I can see it on my screen. Black has lost, at this point, black has lost queen, knight, and 4 pawns. Black has taken white, so white has lost queen, both rooks, a bishop, 2 knights, and 3 pawns. So there's a big material imbalance. And the fact that I've got both of his rooks at this point, I guess I got cocky because somehow I let him, he does a sort of a fork, I think. So now his bishop, I bring my, wait a minute, whose turn is it? Okay, so the king threatens the knight, and then the bishop comes down here to protect the knight. This is where I think I go there. Ah, here we go. somehow I let him walk away with this rook. It was just very silly. So I go like that. Ah, because I'm in check. And he goes like that. So I move my knight. And he goes there. And I go like this. And he goes there. We have this very long, protracted end game. He thinks he can do it again, but he can't. Not walking into that. Hello. Like that. So now it's starting to look... I think, to be fair, I think it started to look quite good for me earlier on. I did make the mistake with the rook, but at this point, you definitely start to think, you know, it's just a case of ending it. And at this stage, I wasn't confident that I could push his king around with the bishops. I'm sure there's a way to do it. I should look into it, really. But it always seemed like whatever I did, there were going to be gaps where he could move his king. And, like, having two rooks or a rook and a queen just makes it so much easier. So I decided to get myself a queen, because I think I had the time to do it. I had the space to do it. So just after this I start moving my pawn. Here we go. And it just ends up with him moving his king up and down. Oh, and so I block the pawn just to try and keep it simple, I think. Oh, and then I take the pawn. I was starting to worry about stalemate, which is why I was okay with him having that, like, I wanted him to have 2 or 3 pieces in case we ended up in stalemate. But then I didn't want to have to worry about him getting a queen with his pawn, and I figured that I could control this situation. And actually, I think he did me a favour here, because he goes to the right. I think he goes to the right. Yeah, he goes here. So I can just... So he's now... I've got a line here that he can't cross. So I'm kind of caging him in here. And from my experience, you need to be careful, because you can't just, with this one piece, you can't just corral him into the corner. Because if I go here, then he can go left or right, and I guess he'll probably go left because it gives him more freedom of movement. So I think I kind of accept this state of affairs while I go and get myself a queen. And there's nothing he can do, really. He goes here, but I decide I could have kind of moved right and corralled him. I could have controlled him a bit more, but I just focus on what I'm doing. And then he goes back to here. I get a queen, and then a couple more moves. He goes here, and I come into here, and then the next move Oh yeah, he goes there. And then finally, checkmate. So as I said at the beginning, my feeling on this game is that given the lead that I had, I should have been able to close it down a lot more quickly. I know that there were some bad moves. I know that it's a bit scrappy. It seemed like a very, very long end game after we exchanged queens. But for me, it was a big game. It got me over 1200, got me into Class D, and I just absolutely love chess, and I want to make videos about chess. And let's put it that if I get to 1300, I'll make another video about chess. And in the meantime, genuinely, I'm interested in your constructive criticism. Want to know where I went wrong and what I can do better, because I've found that very helpful in the past. Thank you very much. I'm not going to do loads of chess videos. My apologies to some of my subscribers who are not into chess. Please skip over this video. It's going to be a long video about chess, and I said that right at the end. Maybe I'll edit that and put it at the beginning. So, but if you enjoyed this and you're interested in maths, mysteries, conspiracies, Bigfoot, a little bit of music, I do put some of my musical stuff up there. I do like to try and do some sort of general type vlogging stuff. If you're interested in any of that kind of stuff, I work as a maths tutor, and I also do data science videos. So if you're into chess, maths, data science, please like, subscribe, comment, all the other stuff, and thank you for watching.